But we begin tonight with congressional lawmakers moving forward on that deal to end the government shutdown, now on day 42. CBS News congressional reporter Taurean Small joins us now from Capitol Hill. So, Taurean, what still needs to happen before we can say the government is open?
Well, Lindsay, this has to leave the House and head to the president's desk before we could truly breathe a sigh of relief. We know that tomorrow is likely when that'll happen, when House Speaker Mike Johnson sends this to the full floor for a vote. And as it appears right now, we're certainly in line for that to happen as the House Rules Committee is debating the merits of this before they vote it out, likely to be with a favorable recommendation for it to make its way to the House floor. We also know that there are some defectors within the Republican Party, but they're unlikely to make a dent as Democrats, a couple of them, voted in favor of the House resolution that passed well before the government shutdown happened. So it's likely we'll see a repeat of that happen, and this will be on its way to the president's desk sometime tomorrow evening.
Republicans have talked about this being a clean funding bill, but senators added a provision last night that will let them sue the Justice Department over the January 6th investigation. What do you know?
Yeah, as Senator Ted Cruz of Texas puts it, it adds teeth to a pushback of what Republicans have been looking forward to, which was really a reprimanding of the January 6th investigation. This would essentially allow lawmakers whose phone records or Senate data were used as part of the investigation under the Biden administration into that January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol without their consent. It would allow lawmakers, so long as they're not targeted in that investigation, to sue for damages in it. But again, this would have to rise to the level of being worth the damages. And we haven't heard yet from Jack Smith, who was a special counsel involved with that. But we know he's been the target of the ire of not just Republicans, but the president himself, President Donald Trump, for that investigation into the January 6th attack.
Taurean Small, thank you. Let's turn now to what's happening at America's airports. The Trump administration ordered a 6% reduction in air traffic at 40 major airports today as it grapples with the impacts of the shutdown. That number goes up to 8% on Thursday, 10% on Friday, and those cuts come as air traffic controllers miss their second full paycheck today. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy said workers could receive much of their back pay within 48 hours of the shutdown ending, adding that virtually all the controllers he spoke to are not equipped to go a full month without pay. So far today, more than 3,000 flights across the U.S., both domestic and international, have been delayed. This is according to FlightAware. Another 1,200 flights canceled, and travelers are feeling angry and frustrated.
First it was delayed and then it got canceled completely. So now I have to wait a whole nother day.
I will never travel again. If I travel again, I will drive, because I don't trust any airports. I don't trust any of this stuff anymore.
CBS News national reporter Kati Weis is at Louis Armstrong New Orleans International Airport. So, Kati, is the situation going to resolve itself right away once the shutdown ends?
Lindsay, good evening. No, things are going to be a little more of a return to normal in a gradual manner rather than an immediate change immediately after the shutdown coming to a close. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy saying today that the FAA will begin easing flight restrictions only when the data shows that it's appropriate and safe to do so, adding that ever since the shutdown began and more air traffic controllers have been calling out sick, they've been seeing some serious safety concerns reported at major airports, including more runway incursions, complaints from airline pilots about FAA controllers, and planes flying too close together. Of course, something very unnerving for anyone who would be hopping on a flight. He says that the key mission is safety, and that is something that they're watching daily to make the call whenever it's the right time to do so. Now, again, as you mentioned, today is that first day to see a 6% drop in air traffic. By Friday, we'll see a 10% drop. So while things have been relatively moderate here at Louis Armstrong Airport in New Orleans, you can hear the jazz music playing behind me. A nice touch that they have for all of the folks coming in and out who may be experiencing some headaches. Things are expected to worsen by the end of the week. Now, one man who I spoke to, I've been talking to several travelers throughout the day, one man who comes every month from Brazil here to New Orleans to work in the oil rigs offshore, said that he's had a serious problem trying to get an earlier flight out. Take a listen.
Yes, today I saw that the airport is quite quite full. And my trip back home is like 30 hours. Generally, I try to anticipate my flight because I'm tired. I just went down from the rig, but today was not possible. The airport was full, and all the flights is full.
And another woman that I spoke to today said that she admires that despite all of the tough working conditions, how nice many of the airport workers and TSA agents have been to all of the travelers coming through. And finally, Secretary Duffy adding today that for the workers who did show up to work during the shutdown, they are planning to give them bonuses upon return.
Those employees certainly are working in frustrating conditions, just like those travelers are experiencing. Katie Weis, thank you. President Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance visited Arlington National Cemetery to participate in today's Veterans Day ceremony. President Trump took part in the traditional wreath laying at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier before speaking about the sacrifice of those who have served in the U.S. Armed Forces.
On Veterans Day, we honor those who have worn the uniform, who have borne the battle, who have stood to watch and whose ranks have formed the mighty wall of flesh and blood, bravery and devotion that has defended our freedom for 250 years.
CBS News senior White House correspondent Weijia Jiang joins us now. So, Weijia, the president has had a relatively quiet day commemorating Veterans Day. How has he reacted to the developments on Capitol Hill and that deal in the Senate to reopen the government?
You're right. The president did not have other public events other than that ceremony today to honor Veterans Day, although he did speak about the shutdown there, saying congratulations to Senate Majority Leader John Thune and other Senate Republicans for getting this done for what he described as a big victory. And he also called into a couple shows on the radio and an ESPN show during which he talked about the shutdown as well. And he blamed Democrats, saying that this should never have happened. And he suggested it was out of political retaliation because the Democrats did not get what they wanted out of negotiations for his so far signature legislation, the One Big Beautiful Bill. He said they tried to basically negotiate the great big beautiful deal. They didn't and weren't able to get it. And now they said, let's close up our country. On this Veterans Day, the president also mentioned his friend who donated $130 million to the military to help pay for the service members who continue to work despite the government being shut down. Lindsay?
Weijia Jiang, thank you.